What's up, people? We're here at my new house outside of Biglerville. I got something set up in the basement. It's a work in progress, but we got something started. So, uh, just want to start out today and talk about some things I was thinking about, some scripture I was thinking about in the past couple days. Um, just give like an overview of my plans with this podcast. And I'm not really worried about the number of followers, number of listeners, anything like that. I just am here to put out there what has helped me in my sobriety and my journey to become a better person, become a better man, closer with God. Even if you're not uh, in it for religious reasons, I feel like you could still gain something from some of the things I have to say, and just with some of the things I've done. Um, yeah, I want to start out just by saying um, the last 5 years has been extremely difficult, and most of that difficulty was self-inflicted, either being bad choices, uh, drug use, alcohol use, um, any of the excuses I wanted or want or could say. But when it comes down to it, I was not, putting my faith in God. I was not um, taking advantage of the life I've been given and the chances upon chances and opportunities that I've been given and that I have ultimately screwed up. And I don't ever want anyone to think that I forget about that. The crimes, the jail time, the fighting, the drugs, the drinking, screwing up in the army, just like I was an angry youth. And I feel like growing up, I just wanted to, um, I don't know how to put it, like show my father and show family that I could, in fact, like, do the hard things. And once I went to jail, went to prison, got extradited, got all the, screwed up everything after the army, and ultimately lost out on a lot of younger years of my son's life. I have to live with that. He doesn't really, he does know about it now, but, uh, you know, who knows what it had affected or will affect, if anything. But I've been in his life ever since then, and he lives with me now. And we have a pretty good life. So I don't want anyone thinking that I forget about that, because that is one of the biggest motivators of what I do and why I've quit drinking coming up on 4 years. Yes, I still have problems. Yes, I still am not perfect, and I just try to do better every day. Um, this podcast is focused on the clear thoughts that I have after my runs. So I just finished a run. It wasn't very long or anything. Today was my only day off, and I'm still kind of unpacking my new house. I set this studio little corner up today, and just wanted to put something down. So I feel like during your runs, if you've been on any group runs or bike rides or whatever, um, just all the releasing of endorphins and testosterone and all the, just movement in a sense promotes healthy thoughts, quality thoughts, which in sense create a quality conversation. So I will have some guests on in the future. I have some people lined up, runners, friends, just people that have a story that deserve and need to be heard, because there's a lot of people that have inspired me, and especially through this ultra running um, journey, I've seen some of the most amazing things, and I've met the most amazing people in a pretty short amount of time. So it's it's a blessing, and I feel like a lot more people need to meet these people and hear their stories, because it help me, and I know it could help someone else. So we'll get right to it. I'll start out. If you don't know, I've worked with First Form Nutrition, and what I'm drinking after my runs lately is this branch amino acids, your BCAAs. It's really good tasting. This is the strawberry candy. You mix it up with 8 ounces of water. It supports muscle growth, increased recovery, promotes protein synthesis. It's a really good addition to whatever you're taking. I like it for its recovery attributes, and it just tastes really good too. So that is, if you have any questions about sports nutrition, vitamins, nutrients, get a hold of me. Check out firstform.com/Don Knotts, and I can help you get you on some type of, even if it's just a multivitamin, if you're trying to lose weight, maybe something to help with that. The greens are great. The protein's great. All made in the USA. So if you're worried about tariffs, the prices won't be going up on any of this. They make energy drinks. They're all dye-free, natural, also made in the USA. So I want to read out of the Bible to begin this because I feel like, first off, I've been asked lately what my favorite verse in the Bible is, and it's not necessarily one verse. It's more of a story, and it's in Genesis. It's the story of Joseph, and when I went to prison, um, I had I had a like a spiritual life coach pastor that used to come see me, and he would give me Bible studies every week, and this one kind of stuck, and I think sort of grabbed a hold of me and helped me gain, the faith and get more of a burning desire to get closer with God and go down the right path. And granted, I haven't consistently been on that path since that day. It's been a lot of on and off. Lately, a lot more on it. The past couple years, sobriety has helped that immensely. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna read this. I feel like it personally, I felt like, could relate to a lot of people, um, and it related to me at that time, and it really grabbed a hold of me and like made me think about what I'd been doing and what God was showing me. Like, you know, if I didn't change my ways, I was gonna not have a good life, and it was just destined for sin and death and just not a good life. So yeah, I'm gonna start out by reading Genesis um, 37 to around 50. And yeah, I hope you guys like it. You know, I've kind of like dreamed up this podcast thing for a while, and I haven't really had the ability to do it. I know I used to do cooking videos in Charlottesville. The cooking videos aren't necessarily out of the realm, but I've just been leaning into the running because it helps me a lot more than the cooking does. And yeah, I just I hope this helps somebody. Um, in the future, I'll definitely have some people on and be able to tell their stories. So yeah, here we go with Genesis 37. All right. Now Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. This is the history of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers, and the lad was with the sons of Bala. And the lad was sorry, and the lad was with the sons of Bala and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought a bad report of them to his father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. Also, he made him a tunic of many colors. So this tunic is gonna come into it. If you've heard this story, you've probably um, know that this comes back into play, and it just shows that you know his father loved him, and this is ultimately what's gonna be his demise, and everything is the beginning because of this tunic that his father gives him. So uh but when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. Now Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. So he said to them, "Please hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Then behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright, and indeed your sheaves stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf." And his brothers said to him, Shall you indeed reign over us, or shall you indeed have dominion over us? So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. Then he dreamed still another dream and told it to his brothers and said, Look, I have told it I have dreamed another dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to me. So he told it to his father and his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, What is this dream you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you? And his brothers envied him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Then his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, Are you not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send you to them. So he said to him, Here I am. Then he said to him, Please go and see if it is well with your brothers and well with the flocks, and bring back word to me. So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron, and he went to Shechem. Now a certain man found him, and there he was, wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What are you seeking? So he said, I am seeking my brothers. Please tell me where they are feeding their flocks. And the man said, They have departed from here, and I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. Now when they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him. Then they said to one another, Look, this dreamer is coming. Come therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit. And we shall say, Some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams. But Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said to them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hands and bring him back to his father. So it came to pass, when Joseph had come to his brothers, that they stripped Joseph of his tunic, the tunic of many colors that was on him. They took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat a meal. Then they lifted their eyes and looked, and there was a company of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead with their camels, bearing spices, balm, and myrrh, on their way to carry them down to Egypt. So Judah said to his brothers, What profit is there if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let our hand be upon him, for he is brother in our flesh. And his brothers listened. Then Midianite traders passed by. So the brothers pulled Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver. And they took Joseph to Egypt. Then Reuben returned to the pit, and indeed Joseph was not in the pit. And he tore his clothes, and he returned to his brothers and said, The lad is no more, and I, where shall I go? So they took Joseph's tunic, killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the tunic in the blood. Then they sent the tunic of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, We have found this. Do you know whether it is your son's tunic or not? And he recognized it and said, It is my son's tunic. A wild beast has devoured him. Without doubt, Joseph is torn to pieces. Then Jacob tore his clothes, but put sackcloth on his waist and mourned for his sons many days. And all his sons and all his daughters arose to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted, and he said, For I shall go down into the grave to my son in mourning. Thus his father wept for him. Now the Midianites had sold him in Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of the Pharaoh and captain of the guard. So they sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites, and it had happened to be that he had gotten sold to Potiphar, who was an officer of the Pharaoh and captain of the guard. So, from my understanding, he was around influential people in Egypt, and he kept the faith. Um, he helps this Pharaoh. The Pharaoh has dreams, and Joseph sort of like interprets these dreams for him, and throughout this whole time of being enslaved, being treated like a slave, a prisoner, he kept his faith in God, and um, a famine comes, and being that he's close to Potiphar and all that, and I know I'm probably butchering this story up, but he keeps his faith, and he ends up becoming uh, like a leader in Egypt, and his brothers come back, and he revealed to his brothers that it was actually him, because they didn't know. It had been years that had passed, and it just shows that people or things can go bad, and you can feel like your life's gonna be over, and there's no positives in whatever, and if you keep your faith, God's gonna show you the positives, the reasoning that you're put into those things for. Yeah, it's this story. When I was in prison, it was just like I felt like I could personally relate with Joseph. Obviously, I wasn't sold into slavery or anything like that. I was there on my own stupidity and whatnot. But yeah, I hope that little bit of butchered up reading might help someone or get them to pick up their Bible and read. It's in Genesis. It's a pretty good story. So yeah, I'm not always gonna necessarily read from the Bible. I felt the need to today, and I had been reading that scripture today. Yeah, and I hope these future episodes can help someone, and yeah, tune in the future. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.